The first thing you notice about Hunt is just how incredible it looks. I mean, god damn, everything in this nasty world is just so pretty. Everything from the lighting to the patches of dead grass just looks so good. Crumbling forts and festering barns full of dust and tetanus, thick bogs that you can almost feel the humidity in, muddy trenches that speak of horrendous conflict and death. It's one of the most believable virtual worlds I've ever set foot in, which is something I don't usually say for most multiplayer games. Originally released in 2018 for PC Early Access, Crytek's online survival horror game Hunt Showdown has quietly released on the PlayStation 4. This is a game that prides itself on immersing you in its filthy, twisted world of supernatural terror. A title that strives to give the player a rich horror experience coupled with addictive competitive multiplayer. Does it succeed? Has Crytek stumbled upon the winning formula for a multiplayer title that is worth your time, money, and potentially your sanity? Well, lace up your boots, clean your rifle, and maybe pack some hand sanitizer, because we're going on a hunt. Set in 1890s Louisiana, Hunt puts you in the shoes of a bounty hunter tasked with tracking down and killing supernatural prey. Track the bounty, kill it, banish it, and escape with the reward. The catch is that you are competing against other players who are after the same thing. It's kill or be killed in the pursuit of fortune, and one bad decision can lose your hunter for good. That's right, this game is all about that permadeath. When you die, you lose your hunter, along with his or her experience and abilities. For good. The game's main mode, Bounty Hunt, can be played in solo, duos, or trios with the option to fight against teams as a solo player, like a champ. Getting into a match, the first thing you do is slip into dark mode, which highlights in blue all the clues you need to find in order to track down your bounty. Each bounty has 3 clues, which, once found, will mark the location of your prey on the map. However, finding these clues is not without its obstacles. Getting in your way are zombies, hellhounds, Broken Stretch Armstrong, and whatever the hell that is. How you deal with these monstrosities is up to you. Hack them up with a melee weapon, shoot them down from a distance at risk of giving yourself away, or snuff them out with a silenced pistol. It's a balancing act, as you certainly need to stay alive, but also make sure you have enough ammo and consumables to take on your bounty and other players. Fighting the main bounties of Hunt is a terrifying and exhilarating experience. Currently, the 3 bounty contracts available are the Grotesque Spider, the Gut-Churning Assassin, and the Imposing Butcher, with more contracts planned in the future. Don't feel too bad if you find yourself getting killed a lot the first couple times you attempt these battles, or running around and screaming like a big old chicken, because I know I did. However, attempting these fights over and over, you start to become privy to strategies for taking down each of these beasties. Unfortunately, these battles are not immune to a little cheesing. When these encounters become too hairy, you can always run outside to heal yourself and scavenge for more ammo. The bounties will not follow you out. In fact, assuming there are no hunters around to kill you, running in, popping off a few shots, and then running out for safety, rinse repeat, is a pretty viable strategy. Once you kill your target, you have to banish them, which usually takes a few minutes. In this time though, all the players are alerted to your location by this big blue mushroom cloud in the sky, and it's up to you to protect yourself and your bounty from them. Which brings me to what I find to be the real fun of the game, squaring off against other players. In your first couple of matches, you may be inclined to avoid conflict with other players, opting for a stealthy approach, but in reality, taking on other players head-on is the fastest way to get good at the game. It is perfectly fine to avoid clue hunting altogether and just focus on taking out rival hunters, or have them do all the hard work of killing a bounty only for you to swoop in, pop them off, and take it for yourself. PvP battles are often intense, forcing you to be extremely mindful of your surroundings, making sure you have cover, but also anticipating what your opponent is going to do, because just one mistake and it's lights out. My heart was often pounding during these skirmishes, hearing bullets whiz over my head while listening for my opponent's footsteps, trying to deduce where their location was so I could flank them. Also, quick shout out to this game's awesome sound design. Headphones are a must. These battles are chess matches, and finally getting the drop on another player always feels more satisfying than killing any of the bounties. There are times, however, when some of these shootouts can play out a bit awkwardly, mostly due to the game's somewhat sluggish aiming and laggy response times. This is the biggest problem I found with the game, seeing as in some of the more fast-paced battles, the game simply couldn't keep up with how fast I was reacting, making for some deaths that felt ingenuine. Things like aiming down the sights or down a scope with a rifle or getting a kill with a melee weapon is likely to cause a bit of a headache. In fact, my loadout often had a shotgun, as the widespread and ridiculous power was typically my best bet for getting kills. Mind you, this is not an indictment on Hunt's controls. In fact, for how deep this game can be, the control scheme is fairly straightforward and easy to grasp. I just think we need a patch in the future to improve the game's aiming. Regardless of all that, PvP is easily the most fun of the whole game. If you manage to banish a monster and successfully defend yourself from attack, your next step is to get yourself to one of several extraction points, represented by a steamboat or horse-drawn carriage. During this time, the game throws you a nice little bone in which activating dark mode highlights any nearby enemy hunters in bright orange. The catch is, orange mode only lasts about 5 seconds as you use it, so you have to ration it out smartly. Orange mode might seem like a blessing, but it can also cause the most anxiety. I remember one of my early matches, I had successfully banished the spider in the basement of a mill. While I was figuring out the best route of escape, I turned on dark mode only to see 4 orange figures upstairs waiting for me to emerge. I damn near pooped myself. Getting to the extraction point doesn't mean you're totally safe either. Once you reach it, you still have to wait 30 seconds before you can successfully escape, in which time you are still vulnerable to pursuing hunters or the regular everyday monster. Successful hunts will naturally net you experience points to increase your rank and unlock new weapons and tools, but it also nets you skill points to teach your hunters new abilities. These are things like gaining health every time you find a clue, or being able to recover stamina faster, or having more stability while firing a weapon. Unsuccessful hunts net you only half the XP and once again loses you that hunter, along with all of their abilities. Now, permadeath might make you feel a little intimidated by this game, but the fact of the matter is the game is so generous in throwing you cash and weapons that recruiting new hunters rarely feels defeating. In fact, as you level up and unlock more tiers of recruitment, you're usually able to recruit hunters with a few abilities preloaded and better than average weapons. Also, while we're here, I have to say, not a big fan of the menus in this game. Everything is a little too cramped and convoluted, while simultaneously being spaced too far and awkwardly. Plus, everything is cursor-based, which isn't necessarily horrible, but the cursor feels slow, and let's face it, these types of interfaces always feel awkward on console. Hunt's second game mode is simply called Quick Play, which I think is a little misleading since this mode is just as fun and deep as a normal bounty hunt. Maybe even more so. In this mode, your hunter starts off stranded with only one weapon. From here, there are only 2 things to focus on: scavenging more weapons and consumables, and closing rifts, which earn your hunter abilities. You know, those things you can earn after successful hunts. This is all the while trying to defend yourself against other players. Once you close 4 rifts, you'll be able to open the wellspring, which is essentially a big pool of experience. If another player manages to open the wellspring before you, all you have to do is kill them to take control of it. To win the game, you have to either collect all of the wellspring or be the last remaining survivor. Winning Quick Play allows this sole survivor to be recruited into a bounty hunt, retaining all of the experience they earned from the wellspring as well as the weapons you scavenged, making for a fun way to not only warm up, but attempt a bounty hunt with the best hunter possible. I think Quick Play is secretly the best mode of the whole game. I mean, it focuses solely on what I think is the best part of the whole game, the PvP, and offers the most tangible rewards in the experience and weapons you earn. It gets you into the best aspects of Hunt quicker than in bounty mode, which is probably why it's called Quick Play. That makes sense. I gushed about it at the beginning of this review, but it bears repeating. Hunt is a fine-ass looking game. Crytek has always been hailed as graphical wizards, with Crysis still the game of gaming rig legend, and their pedigree still holds up in Hunt. It's not just the mere fidelity though, the art direction and detail put into this game goes so far to paint the picture of this bleak world ravaged by otherworldly forces. Hunt doesn't throw a lot at you in terms of story, but spending enough time in this world, you can't help but start to theorize what events might have transpired here. That's a telltale sign of of good immersion, which only comes about from strong art direction, visual presentation, and sound. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the map randomizes every match, which is very impressive. It's a little rough around some edges. The typical suspects do rear their ugly heads, like texture popping and the physics spazzing out every once in a while. And yes, the frame rates and load times could certainly be better. Otherwise, this is a very stable build of the game, which unfortunately is a triumph these days. Hunt Showdown is an impressive feat for multiplayer games and is an absolute blast to play due to its simple but deep gameplay design and beautifully crafted world. No, I don't think this is going to be the next multiplayer phenomenon on the level of Overwatch or PUBG, but I think this game has its place with gamers who want a little more spectacle and immersion out of their multiplayer experiences. Also, it's worth mentioning, this game is only $40 on the store. It's not full priced. It's not cheap, but it's not going to totally bust your wallet if you're curious and just want to try it out. Plus, judging by Crytek's support of the game so far, there looks to be more features and contracts planned for the future, along with more substantial improvements. Plus, wouldn't be too shocked if this was optimized for the PlayStation 5, just saying. And while there are microtransactions and DLC, the game is far from predatory about it, and frankly, the advantages gained from it are not that substantial. But that's it for me today. I'm Kirk, and thank you for watching this review of Hunt Showdown. If you enjoyed this video and my style of reviewing, please leave me a like and subscribe. I have more reviews planned in the coming weeks because, you know, it's not like anything substantial is about to come out or anything. Also, feel free to leave me some comments. Is anybody else playing Hunt? Are you enjoying it? Hating it? Let me know your thoughts. Anyways, until next time, take care and wash your damn hands. Wash your damn hands.